before we start, I'm here for Monique today. Monique is ill and at home, and we all have to send best wishes to Monique to Germany, that next year she could come to FOSDEM and hopefully present this talk by herself. But I think I could give you the same input today, and we merged a little bit our presentation to have the same content, and I think I could present and inspire you by the idea of the talk and the topic access is a human right. So,
and your name is not Monique?
No. So, my name is Philip, but it will be the first slide, and then I will give you a short overview about me. So, when the door is closed, I think we
No, that's
could...
30 more seconds.
Ah. Oh.
Yeah, wait, 20 seconds.
Oh. Strict time plan here.
Yeah, we're a bit German.
Ah, okay.
I mean that in a good way, of course.
Yeah. But yes, yesterday and Friday we joined the bar in the city there, and I see that the beer is quite more heavy than German's beer, and that was my first lection to be first time here in Belgium. It's
Right, you can start now.
yeah. Yeah. Welcome everybody, thanks for coming. The room is quite full. A few words about me. I'm a member of the board about in Freifunk Rheinland. We are based in Germany. We are one of the organizations that support people building free wireless networks, especially in the freifunk community. I am based in Essen. It's nearby Düsseldorf, about 20 kilometers. Run my own company with software and data center stuff, and you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook, so on. A few sentences about the Freifunk Rheinland. We do some research with the community, empower people to build free and open infrastructure. That is the main goal of Freifunk. We have some regional meetings, conferences. At the Chaos Communication Congress we have meetings here at the FOSDEM. A lot of Freifunk guys are here. And especially we as Freifunk Rheinland providing our own autonomous system in a backbone network, and we get some IP transit to other Freifunk communities in Germany to connect their routers, their wireless routers to the internet. And there is some special thing about the last 2 years. It becomes more and more a big thing in the community to give some access to the internet to socially disadvantaged people, especially the refugee situation in Germany, and then I think the other communities. I see some here from Spain, Italy, and from Greek. They have same situation in providing some internet access to socially disadvantaged people, and especially the refugees. They are coming from different nations to us. And then it is essential to have internet connectivity when you will be in another country. Yeah, the topic of the talk is access is a human right, and we stand for this. We are in many situations. We see that it is not. It's not true. It is not the situation we have, but we fight for this, and we hope to get much more support. And the interesting point is that we have some different views on this situation. We have the view from the European side, we have the in Germany, we have the view from the national rights, and there are some conflicts, and I will give you a short overview. The council says that without internet access, the people can take part on the space of possibilities, and I'm with this. I think it is true. And there was a second decision from the Parliamentary Assembly, and it's near the same, that the Convention of Human Rights says that it is essential to have access to the internet to participate. So then we have the German constitutional rights, and there it is. There we have some other points. It is the freedom of information is very important, and then we have the general right of personality. There's some other point. It is not direct in connection with the access, but it is when you participate on the internet, then you have the general right of personality, and it might be different from the European thing. There is some very interesting point, the fundamental right on social integration, and when you take a look of how the thing changed, you get in social with other people, it has moved, we can say today, totally to the internet. No more postcards. I think in post boxes is it is not more today. Yeah, then we have a decision from the Bundesgerichtshof in Germany. It is a legal court, and they said that it is the huge all the people are using the internet for the daily and so when the internet connection or they have no access, it has an very big impact for them, because you have it all days, and you couldn't live without this. So that is the end in topic. Yeah, there will be a human right in education to participate, to get information, to do research, and to do other things that are connected with education. And we think that this is personally for me, it is an important point. When you do some education, it is necessary to have access and to have connection to the internet. And there we have the Convention of the Rights, which is in special with the status of refugees, and the problem when there is no access and no connection for them. Yeah, at the end, the United Nations report said the same, and said that disconnecting people from the internet is a human rights violation and against international law. So, but when I go to the next chapter of the talk, first a short introduction. What is Freifunk? But I think the most people know this project, and I told you before that we are providing some free internet access for people and connect them. And then when we go to the next slide, we have here some information what we mean with free. free for us is it's not only that they have no costs, the user, so it is much more important that you have no restrictions on the network, on no censorship and no other unfree things. But it is not only to doesn't pay for the access. There is no business model. We are sure that nobody pay in the masses for internet access at free Wi-Fi. So that's a situation in Germany. We have a lot of communities in the whole country, and there are a lot of access nodes, 40,000 today approximately. We have there some statistics on the maps from the community where the nodes are in place. You could provide GPS coordinates, and then you could watch on the maps. Yeah, and the second thing is that we think at freifunk community, and we make some political discussions that yeah, it is a governance task to connect the people. And when you remember the slides before, that the European Union say it very clear that it's a human right to give access the people. And yeah, but it is different from the situation that we have, or I can only see the situation in Germany, but I hear the same from other countries. Yeah. Yeah, there are a few points to can communicate, to can access to education and information in a foreign country when you will be there. And it is better to use money for food and family and not to pay for prepaid internet. So we see this in a lot of refugee camps in Germany, that there are a lot of internet prepaid dialers, and the people gave more of the money they had for to get internet access as to buy food and other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, the problem is that there is no DSL or fiber or anything else in a refugee camp. It is very hard to build internet in the wild, and there's no business model I told you before. So we need donations, and there is a huge challenge to bring volunteers, as in these conference and in other projects, together with professionals. They are providing our organization, make organization of the refugee camp there we had. There are a lot of technical challenges with mesh networks for the mass, and so with Wi-Fi for the mass. I'm very proud of all the people in the freifunk community there and the other wireless communities. They say we are accepting the challenge, and we have to provide some internet for these people came to us, and then the result is that we have more than 400 refugee and social projects connected over the 2 or 3 years. But we do this as freifunk community already before, but I think the last 2 years was had a big impact. So yeah, and then at the end we have built internet and access for many thousands of people. So I have here a few pictures how we connect these locations from high positions. We installed some radio equipment, and then in the refugee case by us in Germany, it was so in North Rhine-Westphalia that we had a lot of sports parks that are not more in use, and then they built some tents on it. Yeah, that's me on the lightning equipment there. up, and we install there some radio equipment to get some uplink, and these are the tents where the people live, and you could imagine that it is not so easy to bring there some infrastructure. Power is a big problem. You have your smartphone, and the battery is I think the most problem to keep it full, and you see these electronic power stations to charge your phone, and it's not so easy when you would like to connect a wireless router on this, and you have a cable plugged in. So this is the reason why this one is plugged out, and one day later there came the family and put the smartphone in it, plug out the wireless router, and the internet uplink is down, and there's a lot of trouble then in the camp. At the end, I would invite you to join the community, go to our internet site. There are much more contact details, and there are a lot of information about the local community. I think summary in the end is that the European Union said very clear it is a human right to connect the people to the internet, but the situation in the country, especially in Germany, is not the same, and it is not the reality we have. We as community could do a lot of good stuff, but it is not we couldn't not solve the whole problem and connect all these people. We could do only a little steps, and with the power you have as in a community project, it is limited, the resources limited, but I think we could do our best and help people to connect to the internet. There were some special projects that I would spend some words together with the Förderverein Freie Netzwerke in Berlin and Refugees Emancipation. They built some internet uplinks and some internet cafes together with refugees, and I think it is the best project we have in the freifunk community to engage the people and to empower the people that came to us to build by self this infrastructure. We are not a service provider for the people, because it doesn't scale to do this as a community project. So we have to empower the people to build by themselves the infrastructure they need, and to build some wireless equipment or mesh networks to connect the refugee camps or the other locations they have, such as internet cafes. So far, thanks for listening, and when you have questions, I think we have some time. Thanks.
We have 8 minutes.
We have 8 minutes for question. Yeah. Here are some. Yeah, there are some questions. We have some. What about freifunk in other countries? We have some projects as GoofyNet, as Ninox, as WLAN Slovenia, and in different countries we have same projects with the idea to build mesh networks, connect people. It is not called freifunk, and I think it is important to know that freifunk is much more than to build infrastructure. It is to transfer know-how, to build these, to have these meetings, to connect the people, to spend some know-how and to transfer the know-how to the people that are interested. But in a lot of countries we have the same idea and the same spirit to build such free Wi-Fi networks, yeah. And we are in contact with them, have meetings, and met them at Chaos Communication Congress, or here some other talks are here from other Wi-Fi free Wi-Fi projects, yeah. and it's good to have them. Yeah.
How do you deal with recurring costs for the uplink that you use on all those sites?
How we deal with loss for the uplink in the sites? Yeah. We
The cost.
the costs for the uplink. Okay. The costs. Yeah. In many situations, we have some private organizations or some family or some house or some company nearby a refugee camp, and they spend the uplink. So there we have nothing to pay for the uplink. And for us, it is important to have people that support this project, not only with money, so with spend some bandwidth from their fiber or DSL connection, and in other situations we have quite good cooperations with local cities and the infrastructure providers from the cities, and they spend us some fiber or DSL. But it's much different because the country is very big and you have some different organizations in the city. You have corporations or you have no cooperation, and it's different. But in the most cases, we didn't pay for this. Some other questions? Yeah.
How do you deal with the government law for responsibility for the connection you share?
Yeah. How we deal with the government law? We as freifunk Rheinland are an ISP and providing the transit for the communities with our own IP addresses, and so we could handle the abuse when there will be abuse by ourselves. So we are not in some problems with some other providers. So, but in Germany the law was changes. It is called Störerhaftung in German, and it is so that when you provide an open WLAN access point, you get the provider privilege that it is like an open access node. It is not the same when it is your private Wi-Fi at home. So the problem with the law is not so big anymore, because we could really good fix this with our own ISP and some other situations. Before this, we had some VPN connections to Sweden or other countries where we have not so these problems, but it's changed today. Yeah. Some other questions? No. There.
So, how do we now approach to establish the right to access the internet as a human right on a political level?
How we do to get to bring our perspective from the right of access to the politicians, and which point we reached was the question at the moment. I think that it is so that in a lot of cities in Germany there are quite good cooperations with the local help organizations or other organizations that are dealing with these refugees camps or some other social rooms or social clubs for people that could have internet access there, but we didn't have a huge accepted decision that the politicians said we have to build as standard an internet connection in such a location. As such, we build an shower or toilet. So we are not at this point. I think it is the goal to come to this point, but it's not the situation we have reached yet. It is a very long way to be there. I think it is on a good way, but it takes much more time. Yeah. there are some questions.
Quickly, because we have like 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
Last question.
How do you balance bandwidth? Like if you provide access to anybody without any...
Bandwidth. What about the bandwidth in our networks? So I could only give you the information about the freifunk Rheinland backbone that we provide, and there are a lot of these approximately 40,000 nodes connected to this. There we have an average in traffic about 5 gigabits per second, and a lot of this traffic we can bring out by peerings and internet exchanges. We have 3 different sites in Berlin, Frankfurt and Düsseldorf, where we connected to some other carriers and providers and get some sponsoring with IP transit, so this is no problem, and we didn't have to pay for traffic in the backbone, because it's so that we have eyeball traffic, the access traffic, and you can get a free settlement peering with the content providers and not with the problem with the access providers we have, so that is no problem for us. Yeah, thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of the conference.